You also run you are online on a website called Cameo, where you'll record paid shorts of you doing roasts or pep talks for people. I was just wondering, your cheapest ones you do are £70. If I paid you £70 now, would you admit that this country would be nothing without our rich history of immigration?
Well, I tell you what. And this is what's gone wrong. Because you talk about immigration, and it ran from after the war up until the millennium, a net 30 to 40,000 a year. And yes, it worked. In fact, we had the most successful immigration policies of any country in the whole of Europe, no question. Now, it is so totally out of control. Just think about this. 2.5 million people have come in the last 2 years. You wonder why you can't get a house. You wonder why your rents have gone up 25% in 4 years. You wonder why our infrastructure is struggling.
She looks shell-shocked there, Darren. It didn't work out how she planned.
No, it didn't indeed. And I wonder how long she was sat thinking about that question while she was packed into a BBC audience, which is so skewed to the left that it might as well have been put together by Jeremy Corbyn. You know, the BBC has had an absolutely appalling general election campaign in which they've tried to do all they could to actually diminish the polling uptake and increase that Reform UK through Nigel Farage have actually enjoyed. And it hasn't worked. It's backfired. This is an establishment stitch-up bigger than a bio-tapestry, and it just has not worked. And I've been delighted to see that it hasn't worked. You know, there are so many young people, Rita, that are actually backing Reform UK. And people at the BBC say to me, I'm so shocked by this. What explains it? And I say it's really quite easy. In parts of the world, just like this one, in the northeast of England, you can't stand a chance of getting a house. You are in and out of competing with in factories and all the rest of it with migrant labour that can undercut your wages and work for longer hours than you can if you've got a family to support. The illegal migrants come over here, they get given bed, board and benefits whilst you struggle to make ends meet. I can understand why those young people say, my future is going to be significantly worse than my forebears. And I don't think that's right or just or in the British tradition. And I'm going to therefore vote for Nigel Farage. And young privileged people just like this one who tried to kowtow to the BBC line there against Farage, they just don't get it. And I'm afraid that they aren't the kind of people that Nigel Farage is actually targeting. So he could not give one flying flamingo about what someone like that actually thinks about him, right? That's not who he's appealing to. It is the working man and woman of Britain who are saying, I'm going to give these guys a chance because we've been wholeheartedly failed by the establishment political class in this country. And the media are right up there with them, Rita.
You are so right. And we've seen across Europe that right-wing vote, many of the new supporters are young people, which was a shock to so many of us because we see young people as being left-wing in places like the UK, Australia, US, but the experience in the rest of Europe is different and perhaps it's changing in the UK. Darren Grimes, thank you so much for your time this evening.